It's the end of an era. Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi, one of India's finest cricketers, is dead at the age of 70. He had a serious lung infection and was admitted to the Sir Gangaram Hospital in Delhi. Pataudi's life was a fairy tale of sorts, a dashing cricketer who became one of India's finest captains, scoring centuries against some of the world's greatest attacks with just one eye. While the princely state of Pataudi had been merged with India when the British left, Mansoor inherited the title of Nawab of Pataudi. In December 1969, Pataudi went on to marry Sharmila Tagore, and they had 3 children: Saif Ali Khan, now the Bollywood star, Soha, his sister, and Sabah Ali Khan. In the next 30 minutes, Nari contractor, Krishnamachari Srikanth, Farooq engineer, Arif Abbasi, the cousin of Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi, and also former chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board, and several others join us to discuss the life and times of one of Indian cricket's greats. But first, here's a report at the man himself.
The last Nawab of Pataudi was one of India's first cricketing icons, epitomizing the gentleman's game like very few did. Leading India in 40 of the 46 tests he played between 1961 and 1975. Right at the start of what was to be an embellished career, at 20, a car accident permanently damaged vision in his right eye. Amazingly, that would not come in the way of his captaincy about 2 years on. Tiger, as he was known to most, led India to its first overseas victory against New Zealand. Mansoor reasoned differently. For instance, the idea that India must play with 3 spinners, that spin was the key against foreign teams, was his. It paid dividends then and continues to do so now. Spin and not pace is still India's bowling might. A prince on the field, equally off it. His 4-year-long, much-talked-about affair with screen goddess Sharmila Tagore and their controversial marriage on account of their different religions is the stuff of headlines and history. Their 3 children, celebrities in their own right, a fusion of their best. Last they did, and how, for 42 years through thick and thin. The tiger is no more. Long live the tiger.
Well, joining us, another former India captain, Krishnamachari Srikanth. He joins us now on the phone line. With us in the studio, the former sports editor of Times of India, Mr. K. Datta, someone who's got lots of memories of Mansoor Ali Khan. Mr. Srikanth, if I can come to you first, this is one of the saddest days for Indian cricket in a very long time. You must have met and interacted with Pataudi on many occasions. Very briefly, what do you think his greatest contribution to Indian cricket was?
I tell you what, I've seen Pataudi play right from my childhood. He was one of the heroes in the sense that in the good old days, I used to watch matches in Chepauk. I've seen test matches. I've seen Ranji Trophy, Duleep Trophy matches of Tiger Pataudi. I think what he brought in, one distinct thing that he brought in early days of Indian cricket is style and aggression. If we say Tiger Pataudi, it goes with style. The other is attacking cricket. Imagine, okay, now you see people playing attacking cricket, but Indians playing attacking cricket in the 60s, it was Tiger Pataudi. And that's something great. And I've interacted with him a few times, post all our retirement days, during commentary and other occasions. And actually, he's a very simple person, a friendly person, unlike people think. And he's got a terrific sense of humor and a subtle sense of humor. And I remember when I first met him long back, and I said, "Sir," he said, "Don't call me sir, call me Tiger." And that is the kind of attitude he had. And a very, very lovely person. And I think Tiger's loss is great. And the very fact that he's known as Tiger is because of his great fielding capabilities. And imagine a guy, one thing I want to tell all the people is he's taught people determination too.
Right.
A guy who lost his eye while playing cricket and then comes back and then achieves everything in international cricket is simply amazing. That goes to show the kind of determination that man had.
Mr. Datta, if you can just perhaps reflect on that one point. To play on uncovered pitches as they used to have in those days with just one eye, because he had a car accident when he was, what, 20, I believe. And he made it into the Indian cricket team. He scored centuries after that. He went on to become a very successful captain by those standards of the day. But it must have been a tremendous person who could actually bat with one eye.
Now, if you had an eye specialist and you had asked him this question, he would have told you how difficult it is.
He would have said it's impossible.
No. He would have, you know, the transition is very difficult. Many people don't know that he's not the first person to have played with one eye.
Really?
There was another person before him, and his name was Ranjit Singh Ji.
I didn't know that.
Yes. He lost his eye. He lost his vision in one eye in a hunting accident. And he still played cricket.
But tell us about Pataudi.
Yes, but the wonderful thing about Pataudi was that he made light of it. At one of the selection committee meetings, he was asked, "How fit are you?" He said, "Don't ask me this question. I'm blind by one eye. Don't ask me, things like vision. I'm blind. I'm totally blind by one eye." Now, the wonderful thing was about him was, as history tells us about Ranjit Singh Ji, you see, to judge the depth and the length of a ball, that was the one thing. And yet, for all that eye operation, he didn't know that they were treating him for a shoulder injury and all that in that accident.
And he didn't know that he'd lost his eye.
Yes, he didn't know. A sliver of glass had penetrated his eye from the windscreen.
Yes.
And he was back at the nets in a matter of months. And the wonderful thing is that he got back.
And into mainline cricket.
Yes. No, and he got back into, that it's a very, very difficult...
Family friend now, Shekhar Kapoor joins us on the phone line. Mr. Kapoor, how close have you... I know that you've been very close to the family over the years. Is there anything that you'd like to share with us on Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi?
I think that we were all in a state of shock. We knew that he was ill. None of us realized how ill he was. This certainly came to me as a big shock. And, Tiger, as we knew him, he was an icon of my generation. He was the captain. He captained his team at university at Oxford. He had an accident. He lost one eye. And as he lost one eye, he took on the West Indies fast bowlers. And his tales of how he used to handle them and how he adjusted just with that one eye to take on some of the fastest bowlers that I've ever been. And then he captained India with that. He was kind of a person that doesn't live anymore. He was,
it was a fairy tale life, because it wasn't just cricket, was it? He went on to marry Sharmila Tagore.
He married
three wonderful kids.
He's got kids who are terrific actors and stars. He comes from a royal family. It's the kind of person that you want to make a film about. The only thing was that he was my generation. You don't see people like that. People
would you like to make a film on him?
Would
you like to make a film on him? Just as a thought, perhaps?
It's too early. It's too early because nobody will believe this kind of a man, It takes about another generation to go by before you look back and say, my God, such a man existed.
Yeah.
But this man existed in my lifetime. And the most amazing thing was that I knew him. And the most amazing thing was that he wasn't, he would come down to Juhu. I knew him because of Sharmila, but of course because Billu Sharma, Ramesh Sharma, the actor, was such a good friend of his.
Yeah.
And we played cricket with a tennis ball in the apartment building right down on Juhu. And I couldn't believe it that Tiger Pataudi, I was bowling to him underhand with a tennis ball. It's just, And so he was a man of great humility also. He was a man that took life on as one great adventure.
Right.
So to him, if you asked him about his cricket, he would say it was another adventure. About his captaincy was another adventure.
Sure.
About his eye was another adventure. And that's why I'm saying he somehow did not belong to this age. He was a man that was like a fairy tale.
Shekhar Kapoor, thank you so much for speaking to us and sharing some of your memories of Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi. Mr. Ratna, if I can come to you, one of the points which was mentioned by Srikanth was that he was an attacking batsman in the era, in the time, that wasn't very common, certainly for Indian batsmen.
Now, the visuals that I'm seeing here, they lack arm pads,
yes,
thigh pads, helmets, and he played all those West Indies bowlers like Hall and Griffith and all without any protection except for his bat. That is the whole thing, you see.
Yeah.
It needs courage, especially after taking over the captaincy from a man who was injured.
Nari Contractor, who was
Nari
speaking to, he was unconscious for 6 days in the West Indies. That ended his career at that stage. Yeah,
and I remember, you see, those days, I mean, tension-filled days.
Yeah.
Will he survive?
Yeah.
And Nari Contractor, after that, started playing in a Sola hat.
Sure. Sure.
These fiberglass helmets were not in vogue then.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to hold that thought so that we can take a short break at this stage and return with a little bit more on the life and times of Tiger Pataudi.